Welcome back. It's Wednesday, February 15th in the NBA. My three favorite picks are on the way. Let's recap yesterday, a 1-1 day. Losing a little bit of juice. Mr. Devin Booker, we appreciate you. You easily cashed your over into the fourth quarter. Derek White hits his over with 2 minutes left in the fourth. Obviously, the game goes to overtime, so that never stood a chance. But either way, let's dive back in. Let's have a winning day today, have a winning day tomorrow, and enter the All-Star break, making you guys some money. If you are new, welcome to the channel. My name's Austin. Welcome to Calling Our Shot. Go down below, hit that subscribe button. As I've talked time and time again in this video, brought to you guys by Underdog Fantasy. If you ever want to sign up for Underdog, make sure you use code COS or the link down below in the description for 100% deposit match up to $100. I'll have my Underdog Fantasy entry later on in this video for the Cavaliers-Sixers game that I'm flying out to right after this video goes live. So I appreciate you guys for coming out and watching it this morning, evening, afternoon. And as I talked about yesterday, well, look, I'm going to have a fan meet and greet, fan meetup, whatever you want to call it. Hopefully I get to meet some of you guys. You guys have changed my life in so many different ways, but I'll be at Xfinity Live right outside the Wells Fargo Center tonight in Philadelphia from about 5 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. Honestly, I'll probably be there a couple minutes early and probably later than a little bit of 6:30. The game does start at 7:30, so I got to get into the arena. And if you can't come and I can't meet you, but you're at the game, I'm in section 101. So I'll probably be up getting concessions. If you run into me, feel free to say something. I'll be with Logan as well. If you guys don't know who Logan is, he does all of our MLB videos with me. I'll be with my fiance, his girlfriend. It should be a good time. So I'll be at Xfinity Live, probably wearing this exact quarter zip. So you'll know exactly what I'm wearing. Just come up and introduce yourself. Love to meet you guys, take pictures. I'll buy you guys a drink. It'll be absolutely fun. So well, hopefully you get to see some of you guys. A lot of you said you would come in yesterday's video. So hopefully I will see you there. I'll put the address up on the screen. Xfinity Live tonight, 5 p.m. to roughly 6:30, maybe a little bit later p.m. Eastern time. Appreciate you guys for showing all the love. Hopefully I get to meet you guys. Let's dive into our favorite picks. We're going to start with this first one. It's technically a ladder, but it's not what you guys have become used to with the ladder challenge here. So Mr. LaMelo Ball, we're going to ladder up his assists, and I like his over 9.5 assists for 1 unit at plus 110. Then we're sprinkling just a quarter unit, 0.25 units on his 12 plus assists, which is plus 280 on FanDuel. So we're getting plus value on either of both of these. If LaMelo gets 10 assists, we're easily going to walk out ahead. If he manages to get 12, we're going to walk out over 1.5 units ahead. Now, if you don't know what units are, it's just a bankroll management term. Usually I suggest putting 1 unit on all of my picks, which is roughly 1 to 2% of your bankroll. And if that's exactly what we're going to do here. 0.25 is just 0.25 of a unit. Now let's talk about Mr. LaMelo Ball. Why am I comfortable risking 1.25 units on his assists? And let's talk about why. Now over the last 3 games, 10, 12, 15 assists. So he's cashed in all 3, the regular, but also cashed his 12 plus in both of his last 2 games. And he's averaged 17 potential assists in these last 3, which is 10 more than anyone else on the Hornets team. Now, something I've noticed, the Ball and the Hornets are obviously one of the teams that runs fastest in the league. This is an over-under at 240. Also playing against the Spurs, team that, well, to be honest, don't play a whole lot of defense. They give up the 4th most assists per game this season. And on Saturday, we would know this because they give up 17, a season high to Mr. Trae Young when we took his under. Now let's talk about this Hornets team, which didn't make a lot of moves at the deadline, but Mason Plumlee out of the picture. And Mason Plumlee's now in LA with the Clippers. And what that has done is, it doesn't seem like a big change, but what it slots in is Mark Williams and Nick Richards to play a lot more minutes. Now, both those 2 guys, young guys, they can go up there and catch lobs, dunk it on people, but they also don't do much on offense that facilitates for the other team. If we saw the last 5 games that Mason Plumlee played in, he was averaging nearly 10 assist chances per game. And throughout the year, he was averaging about 4 or 5 assists per game. So without him in there facilitating a little bit, we're seeing LaMelo play a lot more. Well, he always plays a lot of minutes, but also he's facilitating basically 24/7 for this team. And we've seen LaMelo's last 7 games without Plumlee. Look at the numbers: 13, 13, 13, 9, 10, 12, and 15 assists. So he's cashed all 12. He's gotten the 12 plus assists, which is what we need for that plus 280 hitter. He's at that in 5 of 7, but also hit his regular line in 6 of 7. In the 1 game he missed, he dropped 36 points. Now, he could go out there and can't miss mode, not passing, but I just don't see that happening. I think without Plumlee, LaMelo's assists are a pretty good play at a target, so we'll be taking him in his final game before the All-Star break. I really like his over in assists at 9.5. If you just want a 1 unit play, and you're maybe trying to find something to parlay with, but I'm also going to put a little bit of money on that 12 plus assists. I think he has a chance to get there. It's only 2 more assists. We're getting plus 280 value. Sure, I'll take a shot at it. Now let's move on to my second play of the day. A guy that I also like. I have a shirt, I think, behind the camera. It's Mr. Nikola Vucevic, over 21.5 points, minus 110 on points bet. I'd play this up to 22.5. I don't mind his PRA line, don't mind his rebounds line, don't mind his rebs plus assist line. I think he's going to have a big night tonight. And let's talk about Vucevic, though. Look, him and the Bulls at home or on the road facing the Pacers. So this is obviously a pace-up spot, no pun intended, for this Bulls team. And DeMar DeRozan, the big injury news, is out for tonight. So that's why you see Vucevic's line go from what it's normally 17, 18.5 to 21.5. And they're obviously expecting him to shoot some more. And I expect him to shoot more too. We know DeRozan is the guy that can go out there, He's probably going to shoot 18 to 22-ish times, going to have 30% usage rate. So all that's going to open up. And while other guys are going to absorb some of that, I think they play a little bit more through Vucevic, especially when Levine's not on the court. And we've seen last 2 games without DeMar DeRozan, Vucevic 28 and 43 points on 26 and 31 shot attempts. Now, by no means am I expecting Vucevic to shoot 25 times tonight. And if he does, it's probably no sweat bet. He should easily hit this over. But without that, we look at Vucevic on the year, just 17.8 points per game, so right around 18 on 14 field goal attempts. So if we see maybe an uptick of 3 or 4 more field goal attempts, we see Vooch get into that 17 to 18, 19, 20 field goal attempt line, which is possible against the Pacers, a good matchup. I think you should have a good chance of hitting this. We look at Vucevic last 9 games with 17 or more field goal attempts this year. He's hit the over in 7 of those 9 games, finishing with 20 or more in 8 of 9. So he's been really close in the 1 games that he missed, and we've seen that it's a great matchup. I know Walker Kessler didn't exploit this matchup. He got into foul trouble, but the Pacers, last 15 games, 3rd most points per game to centers. We saw them give up 18 to Kelly Olynyk, who only shot 6 times. Also the 5th highest field goal percentage to centers. So they're giving up a lot of points, and they're letting guys shoot very high from the field. Miles Turner, questionable. Daniel Tice, questionable. So even if those 2 guys don't play, their defense will get even worse. Should have a lot of tip-in opportunities, but also should be able to knock down some jump shots. They're going to find ways to get him the ball. I think Vooch has a big night. We'll take his over 21.5 points. Like I said, I don't mind if you maybe want to take like 20 points and 10 rebounds for like a same-game parlay or something along those lines. I think Vooch has a good night. It's going to be needed. I know Zach LaVine's going to get his. His line's like 27.5, but I think they can at least defend Zach LaVine a little bit. I think Vooch has a big night. We'll take his over 21.5 points. Now my third and final play before we get into that Cavaliers-Sixers 5-leg entry on Underdog, it's going to be Spencer Dinwiddie of the Brooklyn Nets, over 27.5 PRAs, points, rebounds, assists, minus 109 on Caesars. You pivot to, you can take this at 28.5. If you want to take his over in points, I don't mind that either at 18.5. If you want his over 8.5 rebounds plus assists, I think that's a pretty good spot as well. Now, Dinwiddie obviously was traded at the deadline from the Mavericks to the Nets, and that was for Kyrie Irving, and now they're taking on the Heat. Now, on surface level, the Heat, not a great matchup. I mean, let's be honest. There's a low over-under, but I think he's going to have to be out there to get his buckets. And since arriving in Brooklyn, he's been pretty good. 36, 21, and 35 PRAs. Now, the 36 was, I believe, his first game when Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson weren't there, so I don't really want to look too far into that. But then the 21 was a game that he went 2 for 10 from the field. And then 35 PRAs was last game against the Knicks, another very good defensive team. And we look at Dinwiddie, 17, 10, and 21 field goal attempts. So the 10, obviously, he shot 2 for 10. You can't really expect the man to go out there and keep firing it up, but I think he still will shoot. And it's a tough matchup versus Miami, but I don't necessarily expect the Nets or the Heat to put their best defenders on Dinwiddie. But obviously, I don't see this Nets team getting a ton of production from guys like Nicholas Claxton. Obviously, one of the worst matchups for centers against the Miami Heat. Mikal Bridges is probably going to get Caleb Martin, I would assume. So I think Dinwiddie, who's averaged 11 potential assists since he came to Brooklyn, will average 7.7 rebound chances. I think there's a realistic possibility he goes out there, shoots 15 to 20-ish times, can get us 4 to 6 rebounds, and also like 5 to 8 assists or so, and also chip in 15 points and easily cash this. I just think a line below 30 is just too low for Dinwiddie given his role in this offense. Ben Simmons completely kind of eradicated from this offense and now coming off the bench, and Dinwiddie is over this line in 19 of his last 25 games with 15 or more field goal attempts. We got to imagine a lot of those games were with Luka Doncic, and so if he's shooting 15 or more times, which I certainly think he's capable of doing, it's not like the guys out on the court with him are really high volume guys like Cam Johnson or Mikal Bridges or whatever you want to call him. I probably butchered his name again, but look, I just think he's going to play pretty well. He doesn't have to guard Bam Adebayo, doesn't have to guard Jimmy Butler, probably going to guard Gabe Vincent or Max Strus or Caleb Martin. And so I just don't see him having a terrible matchup, and he should be able to grab us some more rebounds than maybe the books are expecting because he's not guarding any of the high usage guys that the Heat are going to try out there. So I think Dinwiddie has a pretty good night. Like I said, I think he can get us 15 to 20 points, chipping, 7 to 10 potential, rebounds plus assists. And I think he could easily get us 28, but hopefully 30 or more points, rebounds, and assists combined. So those are my 3 favorite plays: the LaMelo Ball assist little ladder challenge. Then we're taking Nikola Vucevic over in points, and then we're taking Dinwiddie's over in PRAs. Now it is time for the Underdog Fantasy entry. I got 5 legs. These are the ones I'll be riding with. I'm putting $100 on it because I paid, well, technically Underdog, let's be honest. Underdog Fantasy paid for the tickets. Shout out to them. But I paid about $2,000 for the tickets. We have really good ones. You'll see pictures on our social media on Twitter, so make sure you're following us there at Call or Shop. But I'm trying to pay out for that whole thing, $100 to win $2K. Sure, sign me up. And of course, if you ever want to sign up for Underdog, make sure you use code COS so they can maybe send me out to more games. I can film some content for you guys, have a lot of fun. Like I said, I thank you guys so much for the opportunity. Didn't expect anyone to ever pay for me to go to a game, but this is going to be a lot of fun. Let's talk about these legs, though. Joel Embiid and James Harden. I like Joel Embiid's over in points, higher 31.5 points, and James Harden higher than 10 assists. Now, they aren't necessarily in that order on the screen, but I think if we're going to see Harden kind of feeding Embiid, this should easily hit, and we've seen Embiid really exploit this matchup before. Now, you look at the last time they played, it was a blowout, but Embiid's notoriously really cooked Jared Allen and Evan Mobley. So I think it's a realistic possibility if Harden's dishing it, Embiid's probably the guy scoring it. So I think that's a good duo. And then we're looking at the other Cavaliers players. Donovan Mitchell higher than 4.5 assists. He's done pretty good at hitting this line, especially since his return. And he's going to have D'Anthony Melton, their best defender, on him. So maybe we see a guy like Mitchell kind of deferring maybe a little bit more to Darius Garland, which I like is higher, 20.5 points. And maybe Evan Mobley higher than 15.5 points. So look, 5 legs, 20 extra money. Sure, I'm in. Count me in. I put $100 on it trying to win 2K. That would be absolutely crazy. But I'll be sweating it out. Obviously, it's just for fun. We're just going to sweat it out during the game. And if you want to sweat out with me, you can sign up for Underdog using code COS or the link down below. So hopefully that hits. We'll obviously have a lot more different content on our other social platforms as I go to this Cavaliers-Sixers game. Thank you guys again so much for everything that have changed my life. This is absolutely ridiculous. Hopefully do more live content, more sports, go into more sporting events and meeting you guys. Hopefully I can find you guys at Xfinity Live, meet you guys there. Buy you guys a drink, have some fun with you. That would be absolutely awesome. Either way, if I see you at the game, say hello. I'd love to meet you guys. And you can also say hello to Logan. He will be there with me as well. So I appreciate you guys, as always, for all the love and support. My name's Austin. See you guys back in the next one. Thursday might be a scuffed video. We'll see when we get there. See you guys then. Peace.